What's up everyone, welcome to another Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite news update, one I haven't seen covered by most of my normal go-to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite news people that I follow on YouTube and websites and whatever, mostly because it's not directly tied with the game itself, but this means a lot to me because for me a lot of what I like about Marvel vs. Capcom is the crossovers and all the different forms they take, and we learned recently at the Hasbro Toy Expo that Hasbro has earned the rights to make toys based on Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and that they are going to be 2 packs. So there'll be 2 action figures in one pack, obviously one Marvel, one Capcom, that are going to be able to be sold in stores. I'm probably going to buy them online because I am a massive man-child. So this is pretty big news because, for me, I definitely love the just crossover aspect of the series, seeing them crossover in more than one medium. You know, with Marvel 3 we got the crossover comic that kind of sucked, but hey, it was kind of cool to see. But this actually goes back quite a ways, all the way back to X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which originally had a toy line featuring crossovers of the same way, where you get like Magneto and Ryu in a figure together, you get Cyclops and Bison, Wolverine and Akuma, going all the way to like Apocalypse and Dalsim. So you get some pretty crazy crossovers with these action figures, and honestly they looked pretty good. These came out a long time ago and are kind of collector's items now, but it was always cool to me back in the day seeing action figures of video game characters, because those weren't as common as all the other ones out there. Whenever I would see one, I would go out of my way to try and buy it, because it was like, this was merchandise on something that normally wouldn't. Later on, though, we actually did get a full Marvel vs. Well, not a full. We did get a Marvel vs. Capcom action figure line by Toy Biz, and this is actually really interesting because I really feel like they're going to try and emulate this exact thing for the Marvel Infinite toy line. And the reason I say that is because if you remember, Captain America and Morgan were revealed at the same time. The action figure set puts Morgan and Captain America as rivals. It's kind of weird to think about Morgan getting a Saturday morning cartoon style action figure that you could go into Toys R Us and buy, but they did. She did get one, and it's really cool. These figures look really good. You also had Strider and Spider-Man, 2 characters I'm pretty sure will be back for Marvel Infinite and will probably be rivals again. You had Venom and Captain Commando. Again, Captain Commando you wouldn't really think would get an American action figure, but lo and behold, he totally did. I don't think either of them will be back for Marvel Infinite personally, but it'd be neat to see if 1 or 2 of them do get in, kind of mix it kind of in a similar way. You know, say if Sea Viper gets brought back, put Sea Viper with another Spider-Man villain. And finally, you had War Machine and Mega Man, because, of course, Iron Man wasn't in Marvel vs. Capcom 1 due to licensing agreements and everything. It was dumb. It was a weird time for Marvel. War Machine was in instead. But it's funny, because come Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, who are rivals, but Iron Man and Mega Man X, so sort of like the upgraded or better versions of them. Mega Man's a bit weird though, because for some reason he came with like over-the-shoulder Iron Man style rockets. Like, it's weird. It's called the clip-on hyper armor, but it doesn't look like anything I've ever seen for Mega Man, and it honestly doesn't look very good. Let's hope that the X figure that will obviously be released in the stores will be better and not have a weird attachment thing. So that means we're going to be looking at getting figures of Ryu and probably Captain Marvel. I'd assume they're going to be rivals because they're kind of like heads for the franchise right now. We're going to get X and Iron Man. We're going to get Captain America and Morgan. And I'm going to say we're going to get Ultron and Sigma. A lot of people still disagree with me on that. However, I really feel like it's going to be them. It only makes sense. And to think that I'll be able to go into a store and buy a Sigma action figure is mind-blowing and utterly makes me just so happy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out with these figures. I'm very, very, very happy they've dropped the Mini-Mates license that they did for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because it was really cool that they were able to make action figures of Amadeus, Dante, you know, Taskmaster, Beautiful Joe, Mike Hagar, you know, all these really cool action figures. Blue Zero, because, well, it's Blue Zero. But it was really sad that this was the only action figures that came out for Marvel 3, because they look like knockoff Lego figures. And like, I get it, that's the point, they're just meant to be mini-mates, but there was so much more they could have done with it. They're not good as the only merchandise for Marvel 3, and they really disappointed me in the end. That said, now that we know we're getting full action figures from Hasbro, I am very, very excited to see how they look. I will go out and buy them because I am as I said before, a man-child. And again, this will add a whole other dimension of what characters we want in. Because it used to just be, you know, the characters that get in are just the characters that get in. You know, we're excited to play as them, we're excited to fight against them, we're excited for representations of the series, but this adds a whole other level. Because, for instance, now I really, really, really want a Breath of Fire character. Because I would love a Breath of Fire action figure, or Power Stone. Heck, Miss Marvel is still top of my list for Marvel. Because I want her to get a really, really nice action figure. Now that said, she did get announced that she is getting a Bishoujo figure, so a Japanese-styled one, making her look all anime, which might lead to something? Probably not, they've just been going through all the Marvel superheroes with the Bishoujo line, Kotobukiya is doing it, but we'll have to see. So leave some comments on characters that you're now excited to maybe get an action figure out of. You know, start making a Marvel vs. Capcom character shrine. Before this was announced, I actually already started. I ordered the superhero figure arts of Ryu, based on Street Fighter V, and the 4-inch Nell for Mega Man X, which puts them at about the right height for each other. And I was hoping to make some type of Marvel vs. Capcom character shrine, but lo and behold, they're doing it for me. That's pretty cool. I'm super excited, and let's hope we get some character reveals soon, because the information well is dry. We've exhausted everything so far, and we just have to wait. It's coming out this year, or so they say, so we can't be far off from some more character reveals. So thank you all for watching, guys. We'll see you next time for another Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite News Update. Ciao.